Here we go. So welcome to our Amplify Her virtual meeting. Today we're talking about production with Lisa Murray. I sound like I'm on a podcast.
I look like I'm on a podcast.
Yeah, you do. So I'm going to let Lisa do all the talking. I'm just going to do all the admin behind it. And yeah, Lisa, take it over, introduce yourself, and teach us everything we need to know about production.
Absolutely. So a couple of things. I'm going to go into a little presentation first. This is going to be a bit of a split between like a presentation with some like useful info and resources that I recommend, and then also a like practical production recreation of a track that I put on my Instagram yesterday, like a spooky cover I did. I feel like it's still spooky season. Like Mariah can stay like frozen away for like one more day while we do some Halloween music for like a second. But so basically I want to like break down that production, I've recreated it with only free plugins, and I want to show you how I did that. And then also just like a place where you can start with like free resources, free plugins, stock plugins, because this conception, well, when you start to record things and produce things, that you need to buy like thousands and thousands of pounds of gear and equipment and everything. But I want to sort of show you how you can navigate that without spending like a ton of money right off the bat, and just kind of start getting your ideas down. So I'm going to start with like a little presentation. First, I'm going to find Andrea reminded me that I should probably like introduce myself. So I'm going to pull up an old presentation where I have, here's one I made earlier. Let me find it. Of just some sort of things that I've done before and kind of where I'm coming from in terms of production and stuff. I did this presentation at can you see that presentation with my big face on it? Yeah? Cool. So this is a quick, I did a presentation at my old university a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to start with my sort of after I graduate from uni. I did my undergraduate degree in music, and then I specialized in music technology. And I got involved in music production and everything through that. Kind of by accident, I sort of stumbled upon recording and making records, and I was like, this is so cool, I want to do this forever. So then I started to pivot into that. I was researching opportunities for women in music technology after I finished my master's, after I finished my degree, because it was like, where do I go? It's such an underrepresented space. Is there anything I can do? And I saw that they had a Outstanding Woman Scholarship for their music production technology and innovation master's program, and I got advice from, this is my lecturer who I was presenting for. I got awarded their Outstanding Woman Scholarship, which included exclusive one-on-one mentorship with Sylvia Massy, who is like a really superstar recording engineer who's worked with Johnny Cash, System of a Down, Red Hot Chili Peppers and everything. That's where I learned how to produce music more kind of properly, how I learned to record, do work in studios, learned how to use Pro Tools, Ableton, hybrid recording, mixing, etc. And I did a thesis in collaboration with the Museum of Broken Relationships. This is the campus. It was absolutely ridiculous. I had a fab time. So during that whole time, this is actually quite relevant to what we're going to do today, I did my master's degree from 2019 to 2020, and in March of 2020, they were like, go home for 2 weeks and we figure all this out, and campus is going to reopen, etc., etc. Long story short, the campus never reopened, and I ended up finishing my master's completely remotely, and I had zero equipment. When I say I went from using studios at my undergrad college at Trinity to Berklee, where I was using the studios there, I didn't even have an interface. I didn't have a good pair of headphones. I didn't even have a 58. I had nothing. So I literally had to start from zero and build up a home studio and make my master's degree happen, which was crazy. But it gave me a lot of time to learn about remote collaboration, doing things like this, presenting with audio and collaborating over the internet, which was really, really fun. I actually produced a song for the United Nations when I was at Berklee. I worked with 4 undergrad students who had written a song about the Sustainable Development Goals, and we got presented with awards at the UN Valencia base. We got to go there and present our song and our music video, and that was really a big pinch me moment for sure. Right after I graduated, I started working as an in-house engineer at Camden Recording Studios in Dublin. I was really organised to get my career on track, which was true, and it paid off. I worked with artists in big artists in Ireland, like Picture This, Fia Moon, Brezzy, Phil Coulter, and I did some mix assisting with Rory Cushnan, who is a Grammy Award-winning mix engineer. Done a lot of work with female empowerment initiatives. We're running She Knows Tech and She Said So Dublin. I also have an artist project where I release my own music. That's very much like pop, autobiographical music, which has had a lot of success on Irish radio and in Irish press, which has been really, really fun. And my live performance setup has like a lot of MIDI controllers. Ableton is running in the background for all my sessions, doing live vocal processing. I'll talk a little bit about live performance towards the end of this workshop and how you can sort of use Ableton to your advantage in that sense. Started working at Sony Music as an audio engineer in 2021, where I still work today. There's me having a great L time in our immersive audio room, working on a lot of things like Dolby Atmos audio, Sony 360 RA, a lot of immersive audio formats come through my team at Sony. So that's been a really big part of what I've been doing there. I've done quite a few brand collaborations through social media with different plugin companies, audio hardware manufacturers, microphone companies, etc., which has been really fun. I'm actually beta testing Pro Tools' new and improved MIDI functionality that's coming very soon, hopefully beginning of next year. Been doing some sessions with Sylvia Massy. She came to London and we did a session together at Angel Studios, which was great. Did a songwriting camp with the Music Producers Guild last month. And I now have a space at Strongroom Studios as well. So I'm sort of double jobbing. I'm doing my day job at Sony where I'm working in audio, and then I'm doing more creative and production projects out of Strongroom since this month. Well, since last month, because it's the 1st of November. A month ago, I moved into the studio there. And that is a little bit of me. That's like really quick TLDR version of my life. And then this is the actual presentation I prepared for today. So let me get this here. So my slideshow. So that's a quick like overview of who I am and why you should listen to me when I talk about audio, because I know things. She knows tech. Right. So moving swiftly on. Here's our recording at home workshop. This is not my home. I wish it was. This is my home that I'm in right now. I record like, I would say 90% of what I do edit this room here, which is like my living room. My kitchen's over there. It's noisy. There's like fans going off. This is all glass. Like, so during the daytime when these are open, it's just like reflective. It's not an ideal setup. And I'm here to tell you that that's okay. You can record wherever. The main thing is that you get your creative ideas across, or that you have enough know-how to sort of lay down ideas, and then you can bring it to collaborators or other people that you'd be working with to get things sort of up and running, and so that you can realize your own vision as you are making your music, because that's the most important thing. So I'm just looking at the group chat here, and there's kind of a mixture of like people being in studios, recording at home for practice, and some beginners. So we're going to go right back to the basics. The most important thing when you're recording at home or in any situation is just to be mindful of signal flow, right? So you need to know how your signal is getting, like from your microphone to your speakers, through your DAW, how it all works, because that's like the fundamentals of troubleshooting and how you'll get really great sounding music, because if you know how to follow the chain along, then if there's any issues, you can sort of pinpoint them and get rid of them. So when we're recording, our sound source, in this case, a vocalist, sings into a microphone. The microphone converts the analog performance, which is me singing, into electrical information that gets sent through the audio interface. And that is your AD conversion, or your analog to digital conversion. This gets captured through your computer by means of sampling. So for example, at like 44.1K, which is like 44,100 hertz, which is double the frequency spectrum of human hearing, which is why we sample at that rate, which means that all the frequencies get captured, and we as humans don't perceive that there's been a loss of information, and it can replicate the sound perfectly enough to trick our ears into being like, perfect, it sounds exactly like it sounded when I recorded it. So that's where that comes from. Then the signal hits the channel in our digital audio workstation or our DAW. So that would be Ableton, Logic, Pro Tools, whatever you use. And then we can adjust things like volume, pan. You can also mix things here, add plugins, add compression, add reverb. That signal then goes to the mix bus or the master fader of your digital audio workstation. And then that mix bus signal gets sent out through your audio interface in your digital to analog conversion to your headphones or to your speakers and then to your ears. And that's kind of the flow of how everything works. We will be sending these slides out after, so don't worry about like screenshotting or taking notes as we go. So to break it down even more, the vocalist sings into the microphone, creates the electrical signal. The audio interface samples that electrical signal and records it into your digital audio workstation. Your digital audio workstation fader controls the playback volume of the audio and the pan of the audio channel. The master fader within the DAW is sent back out through the interface to the headphones, and then the headphones play back the digital audio as analog signal for us to hear again. And that's sort of it, and it all happens instantaneously. Isn't technology amazing? It's incredible. So I wanted to give some options in case anybody hasn't been recording or doesn't have their own home studio setup yet. I wanted to give like an overview of equipment that I would recommend from low budget, not low budget, but like from the cheaper end of the spectrum all the way up to the higher end of the spectrum. So 3 like market standards would be your Focusrite 2i2. That's about, so these prices are like from yesterday from Thomann. So like these are current prices, but from that website. They will vary a little bit depending on where you buy from. I really recommend Thomann, especially if you're doing a big order, because the shipping is free and they're honestly usually come like really, really well. So this is an essential part of your home studio. It's going to be responsible for that analog to digital and digital to analog conversion. And these are the range that I would recommend. If you're kind of starting out, a Focusrite 2i2 is going to be just perfect if you're recording your vocal and just need something to connect your headphones to, like control your volume, add phantom power. If you've got a condenser microphone, that's going to be perfect if you've only got 2 channels to record. The SSL 2 Plus is also a really good, like budget-friendly option. It has more SSL, if anybody isn't aware, they're like quite a famous like audio manufacturer. They make big consoles, and this kind of has more of that like SSL sound if you're after that. And then the UAD Apollo Twin or anything by Universal Audio, it's going to be on the higher end of the spectrum, but it comes with some added perks like talkback. You know, in your studio, you press the button, you can have like talkback. You can it's got some like high impedance inputs on the front. It's got a whole console software where you can add plugins to like add plugin emulations on the way in, as if you're recording through hardware gear. There's all these little added bonuses, but honestly, unless you are doing like really serious tracking or are really getting into audio production, not necessary to go up this far on the spectrum. These will be just fine. Then microphones. So I'm sure most people would know the difference between condenser microphones and dynamic microphones. I've given 2 examples of each. So condenser microphones are like your standard. You see it in a music video. It's like drop down, it's silver, it's shiny, there's a pop filter vibes. Those microphones are really high quality, and they're used in studio sessions for vocals all the time because they capture a lot of really great detail from a vocal performance. But on the flip side of that, if you're recording at home, they are very sensitive. So you could have, and they pick up everything. So if you've got a room that doesn't sound great, or if you have like roommates that are super noisy, or if you have, I don't know, a dog that runs around your house all the time, or like a cat that won't stop meowing in the next room, you will hear that in your condenser microphone in your headphones, like, because they're so sensitive, they pick up everything. So unless you're in a super quiet room, it is challenging to get a good quality recording that doesn't have noise in the background or interference with these mics. But ones that I recommend are the MXL 990, that comes in around £95. I actually, oh wait, hang on. These prices are wrong. The SM58 is £95. This is 84, I think. This is like 320, 7B is like 320. I'll update this before we send it out. And the TLM 103 is on the higher end. I can't remember exactly how much, but it's like a couple hundred more. I copied and pasted and forgot to change the prices. So yeah, so that's the difference between, so these 2 here, your silver ones are your condenser microphones. Really recommended if you have like a quiet recording space, or if you live somewhere a bit more remote where you can kind of get that really quiet studio sound, they'd be perfect. Then dynamic microphones don't require phantom power. They're great for live performing. And On the flip side, they don't capture as much detail as a condenser microphone would, but they are great for like louder spaces. I chose to use, I have an MXL 990, I've got a 58, and I have a 57, which is really great for like guitar amps and just like a bunch of other things. But I chose to use a dynamic microphone today because I'm in my house, it's kind of noisy, and I always track with this microphone. I leave it set up on my desk. I have like one of these podcast arm vibes. I leave it set up just for whatever inspiration strikes, I can just record it. SM7B is like the TikTok mic. You might see all these like singer-songwriters on TikTok holding this microphone. It's like everywhere. It sounds fantastic. And I really would recommend it. It's on my wish list for Black Friday to buy one of these, but they're great. I've used them in so many different studios. A lot of times you'll go to a professional studio, they'll put up a 7B anyway, and you're like, I could have recorded this at home. Anyway, but they're great, and I would really highly recommend. Then you come into the world of MIDI controllers. So MIDI controllers are great for any of your like programming, if you're going to be recording keys or any like sort of software instruments into your digital audio workstation or your DAW. Again, a whole like this is the Korg Nano key that starts at just like 48 quid. Then you can get this Akai MPK Mini for like 79. I actually have it, it's here beside me. This is what I used today to input all the signal for the demo track I'm going to be taking a look at. There's the Novation have a great set of like MIDI controllers and MIDI keyboards. They really nicely integrate with Ableton. So if you are thinking of going into like the Ableton world, Novation and Ableton talk to each other really, really effectively. To the point where like the pads will light up the same colors as like your tracks in Ableton, so you know what you're looking at and that kind of thing. And then the M Audio Oxygen 49 key. I actually have that as well. It's on the floor. So yeah, these are all just like MIDI controllers. The thing about MIDI controllers is it's just kind of what suits you in terms of like what you want to be doing, how much you want to be playing. If you're like a big piano player who has like grades and grades of experience, you're probably going to want to play it really expressively, and you want to have like a bigger keyboard so you can use the maximum range of it. If you literally just need something to get the ideas in, like a Nano key or like an MPK Mini is going to be perfect for just like getting ideas down and having a bit of fun. Then studio headphones, having a good set of headphones is really important, especially if you don't have speakers at this point in your music production journey, which you may not have and like you don't need until you get further down the line. You'll be using them to like track your vocals, produce, mix, master for your stuff in the beginning. So it's important to get a really good pair. Here's something I recommend. These Bayer Dynamic DT770 Pros are really great. They're actually closed back headphones. So they have a better bass response. The Audio-Technica ATH M50Xs, you'll see these in every studio you go into to like track vocals or wherever you go. Like they'll be everywhere. They're really great headphones. And then what I'm wearing here is the Sony MDR 7506s. I love these. These are my first pair of headphones. I have much more, actually. I have these like super expensive, like £1,000 headphones from work at Sony. And I wouldn't use these for tracking. Like they're more for mixing or mastering. I wouldn't use them for tracking because they're very heavy. When it comes to like tracking vocals or just like getting ideas down, I love these. They're like super light. You can wear them for ages. And they sound great too. And the thing about headphones, it's usually what you learn. Like your first pair of headphones, your ears tune to them, and there's something about it, that relationship between you and your first like set of pro headphones, that you're never going to go back. That's what my experience. And then finally, some free plugins, yay! So people think like, oh, I need to buy all these plugins, and it's going to be so expensive, and I need to spend like £100,000 on like UAD emulations of LA2As. It's like, no, you don't. There's so many free plugins, there's so many stock plugins that are absolutely incredible and are my go-to for so many different things. These are hyperlinked, and we'll send it around the presentation so you can get the links directly. Spitfire Audio Labs, I don't know if anybody's used Labs, but it is amazing. Spitfire Audio are this great company who do sort of sampled instruments. So they'll actually go, they're based actually in London, and they'll go to like Air Studios or Abbey Road Studios, and they'll get really great players in to like play a whole instrument. They sample everything, and then they turn it into an instrument that you can play on your MIDI keyboard, or that you can just like put in MIDI stuff for. So they have everything from like pianos to like electric guitars to like atmospheric noises from London to like, I don't know, spooky cello. I was like looking through all these today. It was like scary cello sounds, and I was like, amazing. And they're always updating them too. So definitely, if you get Labs, it comes with like this like downloader that you can like download all the different Labs things from, and like just keep checking it because there's so many and they keep releasing new ones, and they're so high quality, like genuinely amazing, because they've been recorded really, really well, so you don't have to record anything. It's great. Tokyo Dawn Labs, Valhalla Supermassive is a great reverb. I use Valhalla Vintage Verb, which is like $50, I think, on like so much of my vocals. Most like top end mix engineers use Valhalla Vintage Verb. It's like a bit of a legendary reverb in the like pro audio world. Supermassive is like a free reverb from the same company. Then there's these Tokyo Dawn Labs are great. This EQ has a lot of really good color. There's some compressors there. And then Baby Audio make like really fun like reverbs, like chorusy, like magic switches that just like make your music sound iconic. And I think that was, oh yeah, Black Friday is coming up. So the best time on earth to ever buy pro audio equipment, studio equipment for yourself is on Black Friday. You're talking like 50 to 70% off most things, from like plugins to microphones, headphones, everything. So do a little bit of research before November 24th, and like also Cyber Monday is the same thing. So do your research, and like you could save like hundreds, if not thousands of pounds, depending on what you want to buy on whatever you want to get for your home studio or for your home recording setup. So definitely have a look, make a wish list, and then keep an eye out on Black Friday to see if things get like ridiculously discounted, because they probably will. So I cannot recommend that enough. And that's everything. So this is the audio movers link. We're going to use audio movers to stream the audio. I don't know how far back you guys could see in the chat, so I'm going to send it in again. If you want to open up this link on your, just click the link on, it should open in a new tab in Chrome. And then you should be able to hear. It'll be like start listening. Just make sure it's still set up here. Let me know if you guys, I'm going to start playing this track and let me know if you can hear it. Yeah. Can anybody not hear it? Everybody okay? You got it?
I can't hear it.
Okay. Did you click the link on in the chat?
I'm on my phone, so I can't find the chat. It's probably me being stupid.
Okay.
But...
if there's a way for you to find the chat, and then like if you can listen, if you can open it in your browser, because I'm going to be talking in that link from now on, so you would actually need to listen to the Google. Well, if you want to see the screen, you will. I'm trying to think of how you could do it on your phone. I have no idea.
It's okay, I'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Okay, can everybody else like hear it? And it's all, I'm not playing it right now, but you guys all got onto the link, okay? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm actually going to mute myself on this because I'm going to monitor my vocal through here so that you guys can hear me record stuff. So.
You're very low. You're very low. Yeah, it's better. Yeah. It's very interesting because on mine it works no problem. So sorry guys, I don't know how I can help it. I don't know. Ah, right. The pressure's on too. Yeah.
I'm just going to come back in here for 1 sec because I need to re-log into this to stream better. Okay. Copy link, log in. Oh my gosh. Let me find. Yeah, does anybody have any questions while I'm doing this? Because that'll be easier than me trying to make up things to say while this is happening.
I do have a question. So obviously you just said don't record any instruments, but how would you go about recording an acoustic guitar?
Great question. Yeah, when I say don't record any instruments, I mean like unless you have the means or have like a kind of a quiet enough space, would be when I would say to not. But yeah, if guitar is your thing, if you make like singer-songwriter music and like you really want to record your guitar at home, I would totally recommend that. So what I would do is so I'm just going to put Ableton started again. I would get a condenser microphone if you can, or you can get like what are called pencil microphones, a lot of people call them. They're like these tiny little condenser microphones. You can sometimes get a pair of them for like 250 quid. And a great way to record guitar is like with a stereo mic pair. So there's like a couple of different ways that you can use stereo miking on guitars. So you can either do like an XY pattern or like an AB. So you're getting the neck and also the sort of sound hole. If you know, you can get as much of that like kind of body of sound, and then you can also experiment with placing the mic in different places to get different resonances from the guitar. I always recommend when you're miking something up for the first time, literally just like opening up the like having the sound and like moving a microphone around to hear how it sounds, because with the guitar it actually will sound drastically different depending on where you place the mic. So definitely to experiment with that. I would try to get a stereo pair if possible, and if you can't get a yeah, or else just get a condenser microphone or borrow, so if somebody has the same microphone as you, to borrow one from a friend and record 2 channels in. Even with like a Focusrite 2i2, you'll be able to record 2 channels. You might have to track your guitar and your vocals, say, separately if you have a smaller interface. But I recommend doing that anyway, because then you have more control over the guitar sound and the vocal sound without them kind of bleeding into each other. So that's would be my recommendation with that.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, I wondered if you had any preferences, because I've asked a couple of people, and some people are like, stick it by the body, other people by the neck. But yeah, I've not heard of the pencil mics before, so we'll have a look into it.
I would, sorry, now it's telling me that my password is wrong, which is very strange. I would recommend, yeah, pencil mics are great if like for when you're starting out. But I do think that they are brilliant, but they're great for guitars, and I would really recommend them for that kind of use case, for sure. Okay, I think it's working now. Let me copy this link. There's going to be a new link for everybody, so even if you were on the link before, do click it again and click start listening, and we should be good. Okay, are you guys hearing this? Hearing it? Okay, amazing.
I have a question. Oh, go ahead, Molly.
Thanks. It's always awkward on like online meetings. Just
I know.
quickly, when recording like vocals, how do you get around latency? Because I've tried putting the buffer number down, but I still end up having to like manually move anything that I record. It's Ableton and it would be with a condenser mic as well. Yeah.
Click freeze track.
Okay.
And basically what that's going to do is it's going to flatten everything apart from the tracks that I'm actively working on just while you're tracking. And that will actually bring your computer CPU down, and it'll make Ableton a bit more able to cope. And then that should reduce your latency. If the buffer size isn't doing it, like if you're trying to track at 128 and you're still having issues, then if you're still having issues at like tracking at 128 or 256, try to freeze your tracks. And then they're not frozen forever, they're just frozen. Like, see now that's gone down to 3%, it was at 6%, it's already halved. So maybe yours might be at like 50%, and then it'll bring it down to 25%, and then that's going to make it super easy. You can then also just like unfreeze your tracks whenever. Also, whenever you get to a stage where you want to convert your MIDI to audio, you can hit flatten, and it just turns it into audio tracks instead of MIDI tracks. Because MIDI and plugins, like, these are virtual instruments, so like while you're recording your vocal, Ableton is like reading the information and like playing back the sound, and it's doing a lot of workflows at one time. So if you can like freeze things, flatten things, it should help with latency and that kind of thing. And then if that doesn't work, depending on your interface, so I have a UAD interface, and every interface should let you do this. I can actually monitor directly through my interface. So this actually bypasses Ableton. The annoying thing about this is like you won't be able to add like your reverb and your plugins and stuff that you want to have on your track. But if it's like the latency is so bad that you can't hear yourself and like you can't like stay in tune or stay on time, then try to monitor just through whatever like driver console your audio interface has, and then you should be able to track with like literally zero latency, because it doesn't go through that stage of converting it into the DAW before you hear it in your headphones.
That's really cool. All those tips really helpful.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Isabel, did you have a question?
Yeah, I wondered if you could recommend any resources for further learning, like YouTube channels, podcasts, anything.
Yeah, definitely. So Mix with the Masters is a very good resource. It's expensive, but if you really want to get like sort of into it, it's great. Rachel, if you're interested in producing in Ableton, Rachel K. Collier, I don't know if you know her, she's like a really cool producer, artist who's based in the UK. She has she did a course with Mary Spender, who's another like big YouTube musician. She has a produce music with Ableton Live and a perform music with Ableton Live course, and they're honestly amazing. Again, this is the kind of thing like Black Friday will roll around and these things will be like 50% off.
Oh, great.
And like usually they do like sales and stuff for all these different things. And I would really recommend her like producing music with Ableton Live. I've actually done her producing music with Ableton Live and her performing with Ableton Live courses, because it's so in depth. Wow. She does like a similar thing to this where like she uses all stock and free plugins so that you don't have to like break the bank when you're doing it. And she shows you how to like use Ableton's like in software stuff. So I would really recommend that. She's like, and she goes into, it's so in depth. It's like really step by step. So I would really recommend her course, and she probably will do a sale for Black Friday. Definitely that would be where I would start.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay. Perfect timing. I'm gonna stop it there.
Yay.
Lisa, could you put your info in the chat if anybody wants to get in touch
Yes.
with you, Instagram, whatever if they have any more questions, they can just reach you directly. If you guys are on the WhatsApp group, Lisa is also part of our WhatsApp group, so feel free to reach out on the WhatsApp group and ask questions, because amazing. I mean, you've done really well. You're like
I was like trying to squeeze so much of it. Like honestly would love to do like walk through like a mix of this, but yeah, anybody have any questions? My Instagram is at Lisa with the fringe. I'm Lisa, I've got a fringe. It's pretty self-explanatory. And also, yeah, I'm in the WhatsApp group, so if you want to WhatsApp me, I'm in there too. And my email is there too. It's just lisa@lisa-murray.com. And yeah, always happy to like help if you guys want me to like listen to any stuff, or yeah, just like have any questions about things. Definitely hit me up. I'm more than happy to help out.
Cool. And if you are not in the WhatsApp group, just send me an email. You must have received an email with Amplify Her. Just send me an email and with your phone number, and I'll add you to the WhatsApp group. And yeah, we have loads of events happening this month, but the biggest one is our party. So on the 22nd of November, if anybody's in London, please come out. We're doing like a 1-year Amplify Her anniversary. So it's going to be DJ vinyl. You can bring your vinyl, by the way. It has to be a woman, obviously, performing, singing. Bring your vinyl, and it's going to be loads of fun. So more info on that. And yeah, the next virtual meeting is going to be December 4th, and it's all about royalty and publishing. So there'll be more coming out on that. But thank you so much, Lisa, for your presentation. It was amazing. Probably we'll do something in 2024. Maybe we'll recap something else. And yeah, because it was really good. And yeah, thank you, ladies, for joining. It was a very cool thing. I've learned a lot of things, so very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. And sorry about the technical difficulties. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah. Thank you for staying on this too. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Mhm.